Hey, business builders. I'm joined today by Brynne Tillman. Many of you, that's great. The wave. Many of you have heard me talk about Brynne, or I've shared some of her articles with you. Brynne, you've been my go-to person to show people how to write their profile so that it's something that people can take, can dive deeper into and understand how we serve and who we really are and want to click and go deeper and learn more about us. So you're my person. And so it's great to have you here today. Brynne is local. She's in Philadelphia. So we've actually had a chance to meet, which is always a bonus. And Brynne is the founder of Social Sales Link. You can see the logo in the back. Very nice. On a brick wall. Shows up well. And oh, it's moving. That's great. Yeah, one of those. And so, hey, Brynne, it's great to have you today. We're gonna do what I want to do is kind of showcase your work, and it'll the way we'll dive into some LinkedIn profiles. I have mine pulled up. I have a couple clients pulled up. I have yours pulled up. I'd like to share the screen and just kind of let you do your thing and show how you do your work, and then we'll do a little bit of sharing of the new site you have with the training modules and the tools and the resources that are free so people can find their way there and get your help, right? Does that sound good?
Fabulous. I love it. I'm so happy to be here, Wayne, and it's great to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. Um, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the screen share up here
Great.
and we'll dive in.
The more tactical, the happier I am.
Okay, great. Well, can I probably should say, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Social Sales Link and what you do there and
Yeah, I mean, it's more fun to do the work, but I am the CEO of Social Sales Link. We help anyone that's looking to grow their business leverage LinkedIn to start more sales conversations. It's really about how do you genuinely take how you are in the real life. So you treating people on the other side of the message the same way you would if they were on the other side of the table. And a lot of people are like, I'm really good in person, but I'm challenged on building those relationships on LinkedIn. And that's what we help you do.
yeah, I put your website up here and that's so clear, the idea that we're going to get to conversations. I was just listening to Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson last night, and he was talking about how he had gone down a kind of a bad path with social media and was trying to sell his products, and somebody brought him to this realization that that's not really what social network is for. It's to network, it's to talk to people, it's to create conversations, and then when they find their way back to our home or our house, like your website here, Social Sales Link, maybe they will want to engage with us and they will want to hopefully buy something. Like, buying things is good and we like making money, and that's how we ultimately serve people to our maximum capacity, right? But it starts with conversations. That's what we're looking for.
Absolutely. And if you're going to grow your business, unless you sell a widget, you've got to have conversations. So, starting with the mindset of earning the right to have that conversation is vital. One thing that we run into all the time is, whether it's an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a sales professional, they're often saying, I don't know if I could just get them on a 15-minute call. I don't know why they won't take my call. I have so much value to bring, but they don't know that yet. You haven't earned the right to do that. So a huge piece of getting those converting connections to conversations is earning the right to do that. And it's really important to understand that it's not given. Like if you're in a networking meeting and you walk up to someone, 99.9% of the time, they're going to start a conversation with you. But it's different here on LinkedIn because there are so many people that are abusing it, right? Like we are on a daily basis getting hit with, 6, 7, 10 pitches, right? And it feels so icky.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure that if we really want to get conversations, we've got to do a lot to earn that right. And so that does start with having a profile that's positioned to convert those connections to conversations.
Great transition. So let's take a look at, I have your profile pulled up,
Ah,
and I was thinking maybe you just kind of walk us through how do you do that? What is the way that you position your profile to
yeah.
make it
So
inviting, so on and so forth?
so I love it. So let's just start with what you see here. This is the top of the fold. It's very much like, that traditional newspaper when you walk into a 7-Eleven, or here in the local area, it would be a Wawa. But if you walk into a 7-Eleven, you see all of the newspapers, right? And they're all fighting for you to buy them, to pick them up and read them. So they spend an enormous amount of time and energy on a daily basis building that top of the fold so that you grab that paper, so that it attracts you. Well, the goal here is when they land here, which is one of many profiles they land on, that they decide, I want to read this one. I'm willing to invest the next 3 minutes to check this one out. So there are a few things that we want to keep in mind. Number one, you've got this banner. Now, this is a very generic banner for me, but this is like a billboard. I'm often switching them out. If I have an upcoming event, it would be here. So we are currently filming our e-learning, so I didn't want to date myself or say what it was. So I have a very generic banner here, but it at least some interest, and it'll draw you in immediately. You know that I'm relating to that. The next thing is the headshot. This is a 24/7 networking meeting. Treat it that way. Show up as you would if you were showing up in person. Get that professional headshot done. Often I say, especially in today, if you get a really good headshot with your iPhone, it's fine. But I really believe in investing in a professional photo shoot if you can, for lots of reasons beyond this content. If you do like a lifestyle photo shoot, almost, you can reuse your images, and it's very good for branding. We can talk about that later. One of the things that you might notice that's relatively new is there's a speaker next to where it says first
Saw
degree
that.
connection, right?
Yeah.
So I love this new feature. The feature is designed because we are global in networking for name pronunciation. However, LinkedIn gives you 10 seconds, and to pronounce Brynne Tillman is a way less than 10 seconds. So I use this as my 10-second commercial. So I don't know if you want to play it, if it'll come through, or you just click on the speaker, it should play.
It will, if I think I
Oh,
have to tell
you
it.
may have to click computer sound on Zoom. We don't have to do it now.
Right.
You know what? Go visit my profile and click, and you get to hear it. Now, the
Yeah.
thing about this is you can only record this on mobile right now.
Okay. Oh, so you have the mobile app on your phone, you record it,
You
then
record, yeah, but it
got it.
plays everywhere.
Sure.
The next area is your headline. Just like that newspaper, this headline has a big job, and this headline's job is to get you interested in to continue to scroll, right? Like, okay, you've caught my attention. Now I'm going to back up for a minute, and I'll come back to this. There are 5 points to getting engagement on LinkedIn, or I mean, it may relate. I only do LinkedIn. It may even relate to business, period, marketing, sales, period, right? But the first one is that your buyer or your audience or your visitor has to resonate with this story, right? They have to connect. The next thing is you have to create some level of curiosity in order for them to continue. There's so much noise that if we can't pique curiosity, they're gone fast. Number 3, and this is only for business development. This doesn't have to be for brand development, but this is like if you are in a sales role or business development, we have to make sure we're teaching them something new. Corporate Visions did a study that found that 74% of buyers choose the sales rep that was first to provide value and insight. Value and insight is a little mini education. They will consider you as a vendor if they believe you can bring value and earning the right starts here with bringing value and teaching them something new. The fourth piece is connected to the third, which is that new thing that they just learned needs to get them thinking differently about their current situation. That's like their pivot. So you taught them something new and they go, that's interesting. I never thought of my business that way. I never thought of my challenge that way, right? So they learned it new, but they're relating it back to how can I either, maybe they learned about a gap in their business. Maybe they learned about a risk. Maybe they learned an insight that can help them do X. Maybe they got a moment of self-reflection, right? Whatever that is, we've resonated, created curiosity, taught them something new, and now have them going, maybe it's FOMO, fear of missing out, right? But we have them going, I like this, I want this, I'm relating to this. And then if all four of those points hit, it will lead to your solution, or it should. So sometimes we get them thinking differently and it leads to the wrong solution, not yours. So you have to be careful that it all is aligned so that by the time they get to, that's interesting, I'd like to see how X works for me, your solution is X.
Right.
Yeah. So back to the headline. Sorry, took a pivot. The headline is designed to begin that process. So the first thing is the resonate. Who do I help? So when my potential client or target audience shows up here, they know that I work with them, or that they're, that I'm speaking to them. So I am transforming the way professionals grow their business. Who do I work with? Professionals that want to grow their business. Now, how do I do this? This is creating a little bit of the curiosity piece, right? So I do this in a way that they go, that's interesting, right? So how do I do this? By leveraging LinkedIn. And it's even curiosity, to convert content and connections to conversations. So now they go, wow, maybe my buyer would go, I want more conversations from my content. I have a lot of connections and none of them are turning, right? So I've got this going. Now I haven't taught them anything yet. So it's not necessarily all in the same order, but I've got them interested to want to learn more. Now, I take a moment here, and this is really because LinkedIn now gives us 220 characters where we used to have a lot less. So I add instructor-led training, e-learning, and group coaching because I want people to know a little bit of what I do. But by grabbing them in that first piece, the people that would want to work with me are curious enough to keep reading.
How do you, I think it would be a common question. So how would people find your profile typically? And you may, like, maybe later we'll get to this, but let's just talk about it right now. Because sometimes social media, I hear people saying, well, it doesn't really work. Like I tried it doesn't really work. And yeah, you're smiling. And by work, for having a good headline makes sense. Changing the banner is a thing you said. And I was thinking about going to networking events. Like we don't always wear the same clothes when we go to networking events. So we might, we change that. So why might we not change our banner? It's a living thing that we can use. Yeah. How do people in your experience come here and find this?
Yeah. So there's inbound and outbound. So there, and just like in typical sales, you're going to get both. So let's talk about the outbound first. The outbound is I'm sharing content. I'm engaging on other people's content. I post something. It's around, and we can scroll down to this stuff, but under activity.
Yeah, I felt like looking at your activity that might tell us what is.
Yeah, so activity is the outbound, right? So here's all my activity. What am I doing? I commented on Fred Diamond's post today. Keep scrolling down. I don't even know what I've done because I wasn't prepared for this to go public here. No, that's fine. But so there's probably a lot of back and forth on Fred Diamond's. So you'll
Got
see
it.
activity is all my activities. If you scroll down till he has great stuff, by the way. Yeah. So there was a lot of back and forth because it was conversation. I actually liked a post that my company posted. So I actually have a VA that does all our company posting. And then I didn't even engage on that. More Fred Diamond. So this is interesting because you'll see everything I'm doing. But if you actually looked back on this, Fred Diamond has lots of people engaging on his stuff. And I'm not just engaging with Fred, but I'm engaging with all the people that are commenting on Fred's. Fred is a magnet for
So the
me.
people you might want to help, Brynne, are following Fred or seeing Fred.
Yes,
So therefore you're getting involved in the conversation, which might
yes,
cause, and then what I notice here is even in the thread, I would see these first words, transforming the way professionals grow their business.
yep,
So I may want to transform the way professionals grow my business, and I may think your glasses are cool, and I wish I had for lots of reasons. I may click on that and want to follow
right.
back or go deeper and see who you are.
So if you don't have a ton of your own content, find magnets. Magnets are people, first of all, they are posting because they want the engagement. They're thrilled that you're engaging. Fred now will tag me in things because I engage with his people. So he likes that I'm exposing him to my network, right? So magnets are people that are not your competitor, but are attracting your ideal buyers, engaging not just with the author, but then all the other folks. That's how we start that online. So let's go actually, I mean, this is, articles are actually blogs inside of LinkedIn. I'm a little late. I have my November one. I got to get to that one. Usually I do one a month. Posts are every post. So posts, I'll have a ton of stuff on here, right? So yesterday, this was my post. If you scroll down, so I posted this and I'll probably have some interaction. I'm not sure what I have, but if you look, hopefully I've done a good job of this, right? So there's 38 comments. I'm at least, and I pace myself on this. So if you see, so half of those comments are probably mine and half are somebody else's. So I try to comment on everyone that commented, right? So, you know, I have Meredith, who's amazing. She's a magnet, by the way, right? This is key. I have some work to do. So then I just share, you have so much value to bring, like, because this was about value that she, like, there's so much she can offer. And then Sue, who knows Meredith and me, commented to something else, right? So there's whole conversations that are inside of the comments. This draws in people. So if I were to look at who viewed my profile, my guess is Mike looked at it and Meredith looked at it, and right. And so as we start to have these conversations, we draw them in. So that, although it seems like that is outbound, that is, I've done my work here, which is bringing them kind of through content. Inbound are invitations. No, I did it backwards. I did it back. Inbound is I've done work here and they're showing up. I messed that up, Wayne.
I got it. Well,
Inbound
but
is marketing.
you're taking action on other people's things, which feels like energy out. And because you're putting that energy out, then they see you and then they turn into inbound, and they come to your profile and they take a look at who you are and may send you a connection request, right?
Absolutely. And sometimes I'll send it to them, right? There's also, so outbound, inbound, it kind of all blends together. But the other side is I'm finding and connecting with people through my warm market. So Wayne, I noticed you're connected to a few people on LinkedIn that I'd love to get in front of. We can talk about this more later, right? And you're like, oh, you'd be great, that they would love you. Awesome. Can I mention that we had this conversation and that you think I should talk to them? Yes. Now I'm reaching out, connecting. Wayne Herring and I were chatting the other day. Your name came up in our conversation. So now I'm inviting them. Visit my profile. If you think it makes sense, let's connect. Now I'm inviting them to come here because this helps me to earn the right to get that conversation.
Yeah. You know, and you mentioned something about if I take a look at who looked at my profile, then there's also this element of, people notice if we look at their profile? And that's another place where your headline and that.
Yeah, you want to go to your homepage. So it's called, oh, you can do it from there too. Scroll down a little bit. I'm sorry, you could do both places. Yeah, I go homepage, but if you scroll down, you'll see your activity under this. Yeah, you could do who's viewed your profile on the left-hand side, $3.99. Not bad, not bad.
I'm
And then
learning
you
from
can,
you. That's why we're doing this.
yeah, right. So we can see, so if you look, and so you have a first degree, Christina. So now you're like, oh, Christina, I've been trying to get, I would love to re-engage with Christina. It's been a long time since I spoke with her. She looked at your profile. It's like caller ID. You can return her call.
Well,
Hey,
that's creepy
Christina.
though, right?
No, it's not. Christina,
I'm only telling
hey.
you what I hear people say. I want to see how you handle
Yeah,
that.
no, I mean, look, the people we know already, but if it's, hey, Christina, I noticed you visited my profile, made me think it's been some time. Now, look, LinkedIn will give you, how did she get here? You actually messaged her, found you via a message. So it's less creepy, right? So maybe she didn't respond to your message, but she got to your profile. That's interesting information, right? So you see Dave found you via LinkedIn profile. That wasn't, oh, that's David. If we go to Dave to the one day ago, right, we can see where, sometimes where they're coming from. LinkedIn, I'm not 100% sure LinkedIn profile, if that came in from a search, that they looked for the greatest coaches in the world and your name came up.
I sent him a message I sent him a message. It had been a while since we talked, and he replied, and then he must have looked at my profile. David
Yeah.
Ostroff is in my calendar to talk to after you and I wrap up this
Okay.
conversation today. It found me, actually booked a call using my 20-minute call link, which is in my
Love it.
profile, which I probably learned that from you too. So yeah,
That's
there's
great.
things
Yeah.
anyway. It's not a, but I think this kind of mechanical, how do I think about LinkedIn? How do I reach out, inbound, outbound, whichever we call it? It's not something where I just put my profile out there, then it's passive and I wait, go out and wait with my cup for the rain to fall, right?
Yeah, that myth, if you build it, they will come. It's a myth, right? It does, you have to invite them a few times. You have to, send out trailers to the party, like full on invitations. You want to come see the movie, here's why you'd want to see it, right? Like you've got to give them little test drives of you. So that's going to happen in content and connections.
So I saw you somewhere. I clicked on your profile. I took you off track here, Brynne. You were above the fold, and then I'm like, wow, now I'm kind of interested. I'm a professional. I want to grow LinkedIn, right? And I start, but we can imagine this is what would be happening, and you've then designed all this quite intentionally.
Yeah, so I have a call to read, right? So mostly because when you get here, this is condensed and all you see is the top two lines. So although I don't typically believe in all caps because I feel like I'm screaming at you, it does get you to open it. So I don't use it a lot, but I do use it here. And
Okay,
now
so
I
this
need to,
is the call to read, is learn about.
yes, so
I
right,
keep going. Okay,
right. Yeah, so go,
well,
okay,
that's good.
if you don't care about that, it's okay, but there's not a, that if you want to learn LinkedIn social selling strategies, then keep there's more to come, right? So it's a qualifier of sorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I start with the challenge. Always start with the challenge, either that or a statistic, right? Because so what's the challenge? The buyer's journey has changed. Buyers are now researchers, explorers, self-educators, and collaborative decision makers, and it's significantly impacting the traditional sales process. So if you are a traditional salesperson, things have changed. I am not having the success I used to have. If you're still having the success that you always had, which has been great success, you may not need this. But if this resonates with you, first one, if this resonates with you, yeah, it has changed. I don't have the same luck cold calling as I used to. You keep reading, right? And so after the challenge, we move into real insights. This is where I teach you something new.
Yeah, I want to pause you. I'm like, we have 23 minutes, so I feel a
Okay.
place where we could shift, because that makes sense. Like, read this. Here's what the challenge is and what has changed. Now you have, here's three things that you can use right now, and then at the bottom there's ways that if I want to go ahead and actually connect with you via telephone, you're making that easy, or by email, you're making it easy.
Or email or schedule a call with me or whatever works best for you. I want to make it easy.
So there's multiple ways. And so what I was hoping I could ask is, here's a client, here's somebody who's part of my business builder group, Tom Garrity.
Hi, Tom.
Tom will watch this. He's now going to be a star, and he's been working on his LinkedIn profile. He's looked at some of your things. He's just started this though, but Tom is absolutely an expert on helping family businesses to, well, just what it says there, family business growth and transition. He helps them to get to the next generation. He helps them to have an enjoyable Thanksgiving conversation where business isn't getting in the way
That's
of
what's missing here,
family love. Got it. Yeah, good.
right?
So yeah,
So
that's what I was hoping
it's
to kind of just do a
helping.
walkthrough.
So helping family legacy planning or whatever that looks like, while maintaining, keeping. I don't know exactly, but you hit on it. It's like, so helping business growth and transition. So
And it's family, always
helping
family for him.
family-owned businesses grow, through their growth and transition while maintaining strong, loving relationships, right? Because that's the key. Like, for, if I'm going to hand this off to my middle son, but my oldest son, he wants money from this, even though he's not working in it. And right. And you're like, okay, well, how do we do this while after I die, they still can have Thanksgiving dinner together?
Yeah.
If that's what you're selling to, that needs to be here in a strong, powerful way. Right. So it's helping businesses grow and helping family-owned businesses grow and transition while maintaining relationships now and into the future.
So, and pictures of business books, favorite business books.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe if there
Uh,
were like some family ones, some growth, which there are family ones, growth ones.
I mean, if you have like 4 generations in front of a logo, I don't know. I mean, but it's not terrible. But I like things that are a little more drawing in, but yeah. All right. So are you a family business owner? I don't care. Yeah. So what? Keep moving. Right. But what if you start with your call to read is learn how to maintain family unity as a business, as a family business owner. 5 strategies, three strategies to grow your family-owned business and maintain relationships.
Got it. But it's something that's a call to read that says, if you hit this, again, I was thinking it's important to think somebody is sitting there like I am right now and considering, do I stop and hit see more, or do I go somewhere else? Right.
Yeah.
And
And
you want
yeah. So
something
I
that
love
pulls you
these
in.
stats. I would even do this. So only 33% of family business transition to the second generation. So I don't know if they care. I would find the one stat that scares them.
Got it.
Or the one stat, yeah, I like stats. People like stats. It's a third-party verification that what you're doing is important. I use stats when we talk about polls all the time.
So Tom, like could work on some of these pieces. He has been doing some videos that are helpful. Getting engagement. Here's one, 47 people.
These are a good start. I like, why are you running around with your hair on fire? I love that. Our economy was booming, then bam. Like, that's good. That's creating enough curiosity.
How important is the company experience then? We didn't
Huge.
get to that on yours, but
Yeah. First tell your story, then tell them how they can buy from you. If they made it here, they're interested enough to know what is it that you do. So on mine, I have my story of how I ended up where I am today, the transitions, right? So how I started in sales and how I ended up here. It's slightly amusing, but we do need to connect with human beings. That's basically the point of that. But then I have, if you like that and you're now connected, here's how we could work together. And I have the 4 or 5 deliverables.
and buy from you in this case for Tom would be just to have a conversation about family business and growth and how
Well,
he, right?
so it might be, so there's a couple of things he could do. You could do it by persona. Here are the kinds of people we work with or the kinds of companies. You could break it down by deliverables. So we do succession planning. We do, I don't know what you do, right? But and so you could break it down by the deliverables. You could break it down by industries you serve, right? So maybe family owned businesses, and maybe, I don't know if you work with, maybe that's all you work with, but if maybe you worked with 3 different types,
Got it.
maybe it's family owned businesses, generational transition, family owned businesses that will be sold. I don't know, right? Like there,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that's the answer, but the bottom line is, so that they know you can help me here, you can help me here, you can help me here. At this point, if they're still looking, you've earned the right for them to care about what it is you do.
Okay, so a little bit farther to this is how we actually serve and how we perform miracles and things like that.
Yeah.
So here's going to be a question that I think a lot of people like Tom, and there's another guy, Jack, that I was thinking of. Maybe we'll get to him. Um, Tom is very busy, has a full book of clients. Is a Tom, you're not of the age where you grew up with LinkedIn. Like this is something happened later in the life. It's classic, like amazing builder of connections to centers of influences and his network, like using old school, go to events, help people, refer people. These are things he's always done. But here's the story for Tom then is Tom has 2 professional coaches, people that have joined his team. So Cheryl is one, and Cheryl right here. So Cheryl does more of the actual helping the family businesses, but also takes them through the process of when we find out they really have a need and there's something Compass Point could help with, that's when she engages. So she certainly does like quote top of funnel and connects with people, but there's somebody else in the firm, Cheyenne, who is doing a lot of that connecting with brand new people that they've never met. Like, how do you take a team of
Mm-hmm.
people, plus they have a great marketing person, Lori Blatt, who helps run their company LinkedIn page.
Mm-hmm.
Like that strategy of how do you get 4 people using LinkedIn, because clearly the people they serve are there, but in a productive way where I'm not sitting and feeling attached to my phone all day and going down the rabbit hole of consuming too much social media as opposed to selling. How do you work with a 4 to structure that or put a strategy around what we do together? Brynne?
Yeah, so I love that. So there are a lot of collaborative things. The Sales Navigator tool, I know you have Sales Navigator, but the Sales Navigator tool, if you have that in an organization, there's a lot of collaborative tools to actually work on people and companies together. So not to get too deep into that, but from the marketing, if you are sharing content, make sure you're pushing that out to the team to share, whether you're notifying employees or you're mentioning them, so that you have one place of a lot of engagement versus here's a link, go share it, and 5 people or 4 people are sharing one link, each of them get 1 or 2 engagements. Instead, get the 10 engagements on the one piece, and then that will stay top. So
So
that's
the article gets posted in the company from the company, but then the individual people share it, which will route everything back to the
back to the
original.
company.
They
Yes,
wouldn't all share it individually is what you're saying.
correct.
Okay.
That's very first thing to do with content. You're much better having one piece of content get 10 pieces of reactions or comments than 5 pieces getting 2 each, right? Like there is significantly different in algorithm and how LinkedIn sees it as important and all those other things. So that's from a content perspective. From a networking or sales perspective, the person who's responsible for business development doesn't have the deep relationships that Cheryl has. Cheryl is the one that's really building the relationships, right? Because she's the one that's working closely with the family, with the business owners. So they together need to mine Cheryl's connections and her connections. Cheryl is now connected to all these CEOs and the VPs that she's been working with inside of these family-owned businesses. They have networks to mine, but Cheryl's not a salesperson. So she doesn't necessarily want to do sales all day long. But if she sits with the business developer and the business developer says, hey, CEO Jane Smith knows 15 people, because we're working through this together, that I want to meet. Next time you're with Jane, can you run through these names and see who she thinks we could do a good job with? And then if that's the case, get permission for me to reach out as the salesperson. Okay. So now that's the collaborative. So Cheryl has the list of the 15 people. She says, Jane, of these 15, who should we reach out to? These 8, excellent, thank you so much. What's the salesperson's name?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. So if it's okay with you, Cheyenne's going to be, hi, Cheyenne. If it's okay with you, Cheyenne's going to be reaching out to you in the next, Cheyenne needs a new picture. She's going to be reaching fast, by the way.
So wait, so she loved that picture and
nope. Bad picture. Sorry, Cheyenne. You're beautiful. Great for Facebook. Not good for LinkedIn.
Okay.
So just saying.
What do you think about consistency of headlines when you have or banners when you have a company like that?
I like branded. I like I like a same feel. Headlines can be a little bit different. I mean, there's a whole lot of different.
Would everybody have the same company description?
No, that's your story.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your story. No, there's definitely templates that you can use, but I would never have it all the same. Your personality has to shine, but it has to be your professional personality, right? It's how would you show up at a networking event?
Okay. Good.
Yeah. So, but I would absolutely. So even her about as a certified high performance coach, you haven't earned the right for them to care about that yet. Right. So what we want to do is who is she selling to? So they're selling to family owned businesses. So maybe it's one of the challenges business owners or family owned businesses face is leadership challenges because they have to manage the people that they have Thanksgiving dinner with. Right? Like that's where I'd start because that's the resonate piece. We have to resonate.
Good. Okay. So we're getting this, like we go out into the world and we connect with people. How do you manage your time and how do you suggest people manage their time so they're not on like LinkedIn, or maybe they should be on LinkedIn all the time, depending on their role in the company.
It depends on the role. Sure. So we actually have a ebook that's free to download, which is a day in the life of a social seller that goes through every potential activity pretty much, right, of what to do and broken up in times. But here's the thing. I'm going to start with my quick little story. When I worked at Dun & Bradstreet, I started in 1990. When I started, it was pre-email. Really, I had never heard of email in 1990, I don't think. And then we got something that was called CC mail. So it was only internal email first. And I think it was 1992-ish. And it was the same time that I became a full-time sales in the field person. And I remember going to my boss on the edge of tears, saying, Marianne, saying, I don't know how you guys expect me to manage this. I have way too much to do in my day to be able to handle all of this CC mail. This is in the way of my business. If you want me to sell, how do you expect me, like, and I don't think I was that rude because I was young.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know how to time manage this. Now imagine doing any business at all without email today. I could not run my business without it. But the bringing it new into my, trying to adapt, like, how often should I look at email? You want me to look at that 5 times a day? Are you crazy? I look at it 40 times a day, right? It became a center of my business development and running my business. That's where social is moving. But people are in the place like, how do you expect me to add this to my crazy day already? Here's the thing, just like email, sure, it took up more time, but it reduced so much other time in the back end that it made up for it, right? So a lot less phone calls, a lot less physical mail. I had faster time to contracts because I could, once I got real email and it was going out the door. I did not have to walk up 4 flights to, you know, to an underwriter of something, not at Dun Bradstreet, somewhere else, but whatever. I didn't have to walk up 4 flights to get something approved. I could email it and have it back in 3 minutes, right? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it felt like so much more work initially, but it's saving me so much in the back end, right? So all of a sudden, email is essential. That's where social selling and LinkedIn really is starting to eke its way into, especially with the new remote economy. There isn't any better way to do business, right? There are no trade shows or conferences to go to. This is it, right? So we have to start saying, how do we do this? So it feels like it's a longer process, a longer outreach, but it's a much shorter to outcome, right? So when we get it in place and we start leveraging it for client referrals, we start putting thought leadership out there, and maybe it feels like a lot of work here, but we've got this inbound stuff that's now happening.
Right. And that builds over time, and it's really, it feels like it's taking forever. And then sometimes you look back at what you've put together and you're like, wow, that really has added up over time. Right?
Yeah. So two things you had said earlier, well, I tried it and it didn't really work. If you are trying it as random acts of social, you can't measure what's working and what's not working or what's leading you to success. If you're really doing this unique KPIs, what am I measuring? Here's my checklist of the 7 things I'm going to do every day. Here's the checklist of the 3 things I'm going to do every week. Here's the checklist of the 2 things I'm going to do every single month. Just like any sales plan or any business plan, you need a social selling plan. And then you can measure, you can A/B test, you can see what's working, and eventually get to a place where you're just, and maybe it takes 3 months, maybe it takes 5 months, but once you're in a groove and you know exactly what to do, it's like working out. This is a great example, right? You join a gym, you show up, you kill yourself for a week, and then you're like, I'm not in any better shape. In fact, I'm sorer than I was a week ago, and
right.
You know, my knees hurt and my muscles ache, and so this was supposed to make me healthier, and I feel worse. But if you keep at it, in 6 months, you're down 10 pounds, whatever, right? Your blood pressure.
You need a strategy, you need a plan, you need to block out the time, not just doing it randomly. Probably better to have blocks of time where you're engaged in LinkedIn rather than randomly pulling out your phone in the grocery checkout.
Well, so I do both. I definitely have some blocks of time, but I will say part of I get on a call with a prospect. I do my pre-call planning. I engage on their content, right? So there are like 30-second to 90-second stints based on activity in your calendar. So it's not just a block of
Got
time.
it. Got it.
But
Got
it's
it.
a trigger, right? So
Got it.
I'm going to get on the phone with someone. I'm looking them up on LinkedIn. I'm looking at their company page. I'm seeing if there are any initiatives that they're working on. Right? Yeah.
So just a few minutes left, and what you've done is you've provided actionable things that people can implement. So thanks for that. And actions,
Yay.
how to reach out, how to comment on content, so on and so forth. And so I think people should hire you. I think it's good to
Thanks,
hire.
Wayne. I think people should hire you too.
Well, yeah, I believe in coaching. I've got a strength coach, and they make my life better. And I have a therapist dude, and when I go to him proactively, he makes my life better. And coaches, everything makes my life better. So people could the link to this. I think it changed the link in the URL, but is it link? What is it?
It's
LinkedIn.
LinkedInlibrary.com.
LinkedInlibrary.com. And so how do you? People could come here, sign up for free. And I told you I did this yesterday, and I was like, oh, look, all Brynne's stuff. A whole bunch of this is here, and I can just get it and checklist. So if people sign up, they get that for free and start to.
There's so much content, and almost weekly, almost daily now, we've got new stuff going in. Yeah, and there's member only webinars. Yep.
I don't know if I'll get there quickly,
Oh,
but
oh.
yeah. So that's.
Did it not remember it right?
Somewhere here. I'm a member. It's messed up with all my other,
I'm a LastPass person too, but sometimes LastPass is harder.
Well, anyway,
There you go.
I don't want to spend time on that. But the bottom line is,
If you hit sign in, it's not signing in.
It's not, just because it's loading the wrong password somewhere.
Got it. I mean, I can get to it.
People can come, get the free content, and then you offer.
Oh yeah, from socialsaleslink.com too. If you just go to socialsaleslink.com, there's a sign in at the top right.
Got it. And tell us about your paid offerings and how, because
thanks. Yeah, so we run, our next one starts in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 o'clock, but we run monthly training. And then we have what I think everyone, like, you believe in coaching, this is group coaching, office hours, $29 a month. There are 16 that you can hop on in a month. You get lots of on-demand content, which is being updated as we speak. We have, because the new LinkedIn looks different, everything's changed. Tons of stuff. $29 a month gets you so much, it's ridiculous. So even if you don't want to go through the full-on training, you can go through the on-demand. If you are a self-studier, over 8 hours of on-demand training of, little quick tips. How do you put your headline together? How do you put your summary together? There's a workbook that comes with it. $29 a month, it's ridiculous, but we want to serve the masses. And this was a little like pandemic pivot thing, right? Like, how do we get, and so you join for free. You can join for free forever. And there's lots of stuff. If you want the group coaching, $29 a month.
I think more of my people are probably interested, like, engaging on the free level, and then like hiring you and or your team for real, to make to do more like done for you faster. And is that something you?
So we don't actually do any done for you. We teach people how to fish.
Got it. So it's either private. So there's this 4-week live public course.
Everything, yeah, or private classes, which is my primary business, right? So this is the little pivot. But my primary business is we work with sales teams, and we do custom training, tailored training to them, workshops, and really get teams to leverage LinkedIn, and even work with teams to collaborate. How are we getting marketing and sales to work better together? How are we, how do we get marketing to interview the salespeople to create content that really works on LinkedIn? Like, we do a lot of the guiding. We only do the doing for us. We don't do it for other people, but I have great people in my network that do the work, including content that I.
But in the private classes, you're able to give more direct feedback.
Oh yeah. Right. It's so engaging.
Got it.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's as personalized and tailored as you can get.
Great. Well, Brynne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the primary thing that stands out is just to remember this is about getting conversations with people,
Mm.
talking to people, learning about them. And so thanks. Is there anything as we close that you want to, like, last comment?
All I can say is I think you're awesome, and I appreciate you doing this, and I hope it helps your community.
I'm confident it will. So thanks for taking the time, Brynne.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.